Hi everyone, my name is atasya baritanya, student number A1B221087, major English education at Jambi University. So in this video, I want to retell about learning a language, speak it like you're playing a video game by Mariana Pascal. So in this video, Mariana tell a story like for the past 20 years old, like helping Malaysian and Southeast Asians to speak better English and like training thousands of Southeast Asians. And Mariana got something like surprising truth that actually has very little to do with their English communications. Like it has a lot to do with their attitude towards English. There's a people out there who have a very low level of English, but actually Mariana remember about one student. His name is Faisal. Like this guy could just sit and listen to anybody, like very calmly and very clearly, and he could respond. Like that's make Ariana have one question about this one. Like how Faisal can do that? Like why this is so important not only for us, and what is so different about people like Faisal? Like how Faisal can do something like that. So in this video, Maria wanna talk about what is so different about people like Faisal. And then the second of all, like Mariana asks about why this is so important for us. And then the third, what's one thing that we can do for starting today. In that video, Mariana gives some story like back to 10 years, like Mariana doctor taking piano lessons, and then Mariana realized about something like two similarities between her daughter attitude or thinking towards playing the piano and a lot of Malaysians thinking or attitude towards English. So the fact from Mariana doctor that Mariana doctors had piano, like had taking the lesson, had the practicing, and when Mariana doctor success in piano was mentioned by how few mistakes he made, and at the same time thinking about this one again, Mariana noticed that a lot of Malaysians went into English conversations like with the same sort of feeling of dread. The sorts of feeling that they were going to be judged, like by how many mistakes that we're going to make, and whether or not they were going to screw up. And the second similarity that Mariana got it between her daughter and Malaysian people who wanna talk in English, like her daughters know what good piano sounds like, right? And she know the level how good the daughter. And then at the same time, a lot of Malaysian people have the same thing like that. Like they know the level that they have it. So I think that's the reason why they lose their confidence. Like they always thinking like a bad piano player or bad English speaker. So the conclusions why they become so different between Faisal and Mariana doctor and a lot of Malaysian people who wanna improve her English skill, because they lose her confidence. They can calmly and they can be like clearly, something like that. Difference like Faisal really confident, very calmly and very clearly. And the second story that Mariana have, it's when it was a day when Mariana computer broke down, and then she had to go to something like cyber cafe. That it was the first time that Mariana go to there, and Mariana discovered cyber cafe are disgusting place. Maybe because there's so many people are playing like really nosy and violent games, Like, so that's why Mariana think that really disgusting place. But Mariana must be go to there, and then Mariana starting notice about some things, like that guy beside Mariana, and Mariana become very interesting in this guy, and this guy is playing some games, I think, something like a basically it's like a shooting people until they die, and that's it. And then Mariana have questions like, that's the games, right? And Mariana now thinks that this guy is not really very good. I mean, it's like, in fact, Mariana thinks that it was terrible, because when Mariana looking like saying like a lot of shooting and not much dying. And then what made Mariana really interesting, it was because behind this lousy player were three of his friends sort of standing there watching him play. What Mariana really noticed was, even though this guy was very terrible, like even though his friends like watching him, and there was no embarrassing, there was no feeling of being like judged, there was no feeling afraid. That the necessary thing that we must be got it from this, like all this guy like a player game in this story just focus about killing. Like Mariana realized that this is the same attitude with Faisal have when they speak in English. Like remember that Faisal always talk really confident and I was focused to get the result from the conversations and got it, and then understanding the conversation and then gives a good refreshment because Faisal already understanding about the video. That's why that's being similarity, why these player games have something like a similarity with Faisal, because they focus on what they want to do, something like that. So that's the two examples that Mariana have it based on her experience. What the similarity between a lot of Malaysian people who want to like improve our English, like how we can confident to talk in class. And then the third one, like the third story that Mariana have, it's happened to Mariana. So it was the day when doctor said that Mariana must be got something like omega, and then Mariana go to pharmacy and got something like buy like omega, and then there's something like a problem that make Mariana confused about that one. Like there's like a tons of omega. There's omega that high in DHA and omega that high in EPA, and they don't know. And Mariana, I mean like Mariana doesn't know about that one, how like the difference between that one. And the third story, it's happened to Mariana. Like the doctor said that Mariana must be go to pharmacy to get something like buy like omega, but in that fake there's a ton of omega. Like there's omega that high in DHA and then omega that high in EPA, and in that moment Mariana got confused because Mariana doesn't know which one that Mariana needed, right? And then like Mariana see something like a professional woman and then walk over there, like over to her, and then Mariana realized about some things like oh my god, like I got to speak to notice something, like I got to speak to a native speaker, and like Mariana feel like lost confidence, like being like thinking about like how if this native speaker judge me and like notice my mistake, something like that. But because Mariana need some explaining, so Mariana go to her and explain the situations with Omega that Mariana must buy, and the native speaker start explaining to Mariana everything about the HA and EPA, and then of course the native speaker speak really quickly, like goes all around in circle, and when the native speaker finish, Mariana doesn't get something like an idea what to buy. So Mariana turned to the girl behind the counter, and now the girl behind the counter that Mariana heard before, that this girl English level is very low, but when Mariana walked over to this girl, I mean, there's no fears. In fact, like, this girl just looking at Mariana like, yeah, okay, so how, something like that. So Mariana think about, like, I've been in Malaysia a long time, so I gave up to her and I explained the problem, the EPA and the HA, and this girl's looking to Mariana and just say something like, okay, yeah, and then give something like a simple conclusion, something like a simple response from Mariana explains before, like, so EPA to heart and the HA for brain. Are you feel like your heart okay or not? And then ask again about and how about your brain? Are your brain feel hard? Something like that. Something like a simple question. Something like a simple understanding. And then Mariana telling about, like, no, my brain is not as good as I used to be, and these girls look and say, like, okay, you take Omega DHA, like, problem solved, right? And really simple things that we must be understanding. So we got the different kind of communicates, like, we got the one who got high level but totally focused on herself and getting it right, getting it true, and therefore very effective. We got another are totally focused on the person she's talking to and getting a result, like effective, simple but effective. Okay, let's talk about another topic that Mariana gave before in that video. Like, remember about something like in the school that we happen, like when we get something like questions about a text that we must be read, and we must be read something like a through some text and then answer questions to show that we understand the text. And this is maybe happening to us, that to show that we understand the talk, but we got a big X because you or me or us made a little grammar mistake. So like the students, for example, Mariana gives something example for the student. The student clearly understood paragraph words, but no, not correct. Why? Because the student left the letter N of the word environment. So, but in the real world, what will matter? Like in the real world, what will matter is that we do understand the email, or that we understand about our consumers, so that we can go ahead and take action. Now the problem that Mariana seeing here over and over is that people take the attitude they develop about English in school, and they bring it into their adult life and into their work. And if we in a stressful situation and we're having something like a conversation and we're trying to give something like a result to someone and say it correctly, we must be like brain multitasks. It cannot do two things at once, right? And what we see is the brain just shutting down. And we might recognize these three symptoms of the brain shutting down. The first one is real listening ghost, something like, is that your listening ghost? Someone is talking to you and you're so busy to thinking something about how you're going to respond, express yourself correctly. You didn't actually hear what the other people, the person people say, like, and we can see a lot of nodding in the audience. And then the second things to go is your speaking. What is speaking? Maybe our mind sort of shut down, and that vocabulary we don't know just disappear, because and the word don't come out. And the third thing to go is your confidence. This is the most point that we must be know it, like this is really important. The worst thing about this is we can only unconfident because we cannot express ourselves clearly. But to the person who talking to us, they may misunderstand this as a lack of confidence in our ability to do the job, to perform. So if us want to speak English like Faisal with that a great confidence, here's the one thing that we can be do, like when we speak, don't focus on yourself. This is something like tips that Mariana give in that video. Like when you speak, don't focus on yourself, focus on the other person and the result you want to achieve. Imagine a next generation of Malaysian all with the wonderful confidence in communication, like communication that Faisal has at any level of English. Because let's remember, this is important message that Mariana gave in this video, like that English today is not an art to be mastered. It's just a tool to use to get a result, and that tool belongs to you. Something like that. Okay, I think that's all that I can say in this video. Thank you for your attention.